Are you tired of playing small and feeling like you don't matter? I'm Natasha, and I'm here to help you absolutely love being who you are. Join me to let our true selves free and be guided by our intuitive feminine wisdom. Hello there, here's Natasha Koo, and I'm back for another episode at the Feminine Space podcast. As you may have noticed, I took a week off to enjoy the holidays with family, spending Christmas Eve in the woods, lighting up candles on a beautiful pine tree outside in the dark, having mulled wine on an open fire. It was magical, and it was the exact break that I needed in order to come inward, reflect, and come back to you now with full vigor and so much excitement for what I have to share with you. There were a lot of light bulb moments that I had, one of which was the realization of how important it is to be me unapologetically, fully, and embracing every single part of myself, being unafraid to radiate that out to you and the world. So I want to dedicate this series, the next 10 episodes, to completely inspire and empower you to love being who you are. I realized in this time of the holidays, as the year is about to come to end, just how precious it is for us to be alive, for us to have this human body and this human experience on this earth. I oftentimes feel that we get really distracted, we get really taken away by our thoughts, our worries, our fears, and we forget that this opportunity to be here is so precious, and that special magic every single one of us has. It's just unbelievable. So that's why I want to share this gratitude with you, and I want to inspire you and give you the tools, give everything you need to go ahead into 2017 knowing that you are exactly enough. You are more than enough, and that you fully enjoy, celebrate, and love being who you are. How do I even begin to talk about this topic, right? It's huge, it's immense, it's massive. But how I want to dive in onto this topic of loving who you are is to actually take a moment and ask you, who are you, right? Who are we? So that's what I want to explore with you this week, because once we fully understand how we work, who we actually are, it makes things so much easier. And life, I promise you, for me, life begins to make sense the moment I realize who I am and who I am not. To start you off with a little personal experience of mine, growing up, especially in school and with all the marks and the grades and the tests, you begin to feel like you are the number that's on the page. How well you're performing, how well you are doing in school, whether parents praise you or not, that was what I felt defined who I am. And then moving on into university, the degree that I decided and chose, I felt like that defined who I was. I chose, and this is pretty much my past life, to study sustainability and business. My faculty, which was the environmental faculty, the students there would be called the tree huggers. It felt as if every single decision determined who I should be and what the world thought of me. And so this went on as I allowed the world, the decisions I made, and everything else, including my personality, my character, my past, to define who I thought I was. Until a few years ago, I moved here to Switzerland, and a good friend of mine was doing a little interview. And in the middle of this restaurant, she asked me, just speak into this recorder and answer, who are you? So I thought about it for a moment, and I just opened my mouth, and all I could really say to her was, well, I'm not my personality, because that can change. I'm not my body or my characteristics, because, I can lose that too. I guess who I really am is also not the role as a daughter, as a girlfriend, any of that. I guess I just am the expression in a moment of this type of energy within me that wants to be expressed and wants to be lived. So I said that to her and she just frowned at me and said, okay, no, that's not exactly what I'm asking for. What would you say you are? Who are you? And I said, that's exactly who I am, because everything else is temporary and everything else actually can change. So that can't be me if it keeps changing. I am just this expression in each moment of, song, of happiness, of love, of joy, of sadness, of creativity, everything in between. I am just that. As you can imagine, this conversation ended pretty abruptly. She probably took down that recording and wasn't quite happy with the answer. But in that moment, now that I think back, I really knew who I am and who I was. Because I am not my body. I am not my thoughts. Now, this is a huge one for anyone who's new to meditation, new to the idea of mindfulness, or being present in the now. I mean, if we are not our thoughts, if we are not just our mind, that means that we are something much greater. That has a huge impact if we truly understand the meaning behind what I just said. Because the moment we are not our thinking, the moment we are not our thoughts, our mind, for this 1 second, even for a millisecond, if I asked you to just pause and not think, you're still here, right? There's an observer of someone who at that moment wasn't thinking. The reason why I bring up this topic is because oftentimes the language we use is really misleading. For example, we say to ourselves, I am unhappy, or I am happy, or I am sad, meaning that I am my emotion, right? I am happiness, I am unhappiness. But that's not true. That's a feeling we have. In fact, we should be saying, I feel happy, or I'm feeling joy in this moment. But that's not the language that we use. And I'm not trying to be all nitty-picky here, but I'm trying to get down to the bottom of who we truly are. Because the moment we tune into our essence, the moment we feel beyond the words we use, which could be leading us actually away from who we are, the moment we get more and more clear on who it is that we are, we begin to feel the immense energy that's within us. And I know sometimes it can be scary to go into such places and ask ourselves, who are we really? For some of you, you may be thinking, okay, why does this matter? Doesn't just living everyday life, isn't that enough? My answer is no. If we do not have a level of self-awareness, if we have no clue where we are operating from, then we have a lot of confusion as to what's going on the outside and thinking that we are that, which we are not. Let me give you an example of why it's so important to actually know and connect to who we truly are. In one of the first summers when I moved to Switzerland in Zurich, I met this police officer on a rooftop party. And he told me that he had a really bad accident on the field, which means on the streets. And he was no longer able to do high risk on the field tasks and jobs anymore, which meant that he was then forced to work within the office, within the police department that was indoors. He was denied of the projects that he before was really great at. And because of it, he was in complete denial and he was suffering. And he took this change in such a difficult way because he was totally rejecting this new self and this new reality. If he truly believed that he was his body, If he believed that he is his role, he is his job, then when something changes in life, when the universe gives us something different, we cannot handle it, and it causes a lot of pain and suffering. The same thing can happen if we associate who we are to our intelligence, to our talents, to something external or something that's based on work, on a role, on something that takes physical form, because we can always lose all of that. Then what is left, right? If you really anchor who you are and your full identity and everything you know into something like that, and something changes in the outside circumstances, your reality breaks because it no longer makes sense. And this is the reason why it's so important to have a grounding and a deep experience and knowing of who you truly are. What I've always felt, once I really believed and felt deep inside the meaning of this, is that everything else which isn't me becomes so much less important and relevant. If I believe that I am my thoughts, then I take them seriously. I take them as truth. I experience them as if it's real. And also the same for my body. If I believe that that's the only thing that I am, then I'll try everything I do to mold it this way and treat it this way and make sure that I could control it the best that I can and not give it the full respect that I do, because I see it actually as a gift. So I invite you to take a moment of silence today, or stillness, and really tune and feel into who you are. It can be as simple as just sitting there and feeling the physical boundaries of where you end, and maybe feeling beyond that and noticing, do you simply end where your toes end? Or do you feel like you're filling up the room completely with your presence? In a lot of the work that I do, and when I connect with others and my clients really deeply, I feel as if I'm tapping into a source that's even greater than me. And if you listen to a lot of interviews of people who are extremely successful, people who are living to their heart's content, you may find a pattern that they say they surrender. They offer up their control to something greater than themselves. People call it God, people call it fate, people call it all sorts of things. But ultimately, what these people are doing are opening up themselves to tap into a source and energy that's even greater than themselves. When I work with women, I feel like I'm bringing the wisdom of women, of my ancestors, of women before me, so that I can heal what's going on with women today. So if you ever felt like you are bringing much more than who you are in this present moment, then you are right. But allow yourself to have an experience and truly feel, who are you? What are your limits? Where are your limits? And how expansive can you be? When I do this exercise, or when I gather in sisterhood and have really powerful experiences, sometimes I feel almost non-human, like I am just having this little spacesuit in a human body, and things here in this reality feel really temporary. And on some level, I totally get that, because I know there's much more to this. We can call them concepts like past lives or energies and different dimensions. Honestly, does not matter. The only thing that matters is that we have an experience of who we truly are, and that is not really possible unless we are being mindful and self-aware of actually going on. And that self-awareness and that mindfulness, it takes heart. It takes an open heart and choice to be made by you. I gotta tell you that my work and my healing would not have been possible if I did not open up myself to something that was greater than me. And if I did not have the type of understanding that I do of who I am today, then I would put the blame of what's happening on my life, how I feel on others and everything else around me. When we really stick to an idea and believe it and are stubborn about it and don't have any wiggle room to any other possibilities or perspectives, then that can keep us really stuck. So this episode was an invitation for you to open up to what's possible. And once we let go of the attachments and the things and ideas that we hold on to really closely, like it's the truth and that it's the only way things go, suffering will be less and less, and the pain that we feel will also be less because we actually see the bigger picture of things and we have a greater grounding in who we are and all the experiences that we will have. Knowing and having clarity on who I am and having those experiences actually gives me a lot more power, empowerment, a true sense of what's really happening. It does not give me the excuse to play victim or to be passive in what's given to me right now. So I invite you to fill your day with whatever it is that you need to gain a better understanding and have a greater and deeper experience of who you truly are. One way to go about doing that is by activating your self-love and a connection back to yourself by participating in the free 5-day Yes to Me journey available at femininespace.com/love club. You can also join the Facebook community at femininetribe.com and just tag me if you have any questions, and I'm always there to support you. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know by giving me a review how you liked it and the impact that it made in your life. So Happy New Year, everybody, and see you in 2017. Let's absolutely love being who we are and celebrate this life and sisterhood together. Oh, did you want more? For free live trainings and other exclusive resources, join the Facebook Sisterhood over at femininetribe.com. Just request access and see you there.